I'm not going to actually talk. I'm going to take questions. I only have 2 things to say, maybe three short things. The answer you're looking for is in you. That's my first thing. Because there's a lot of people asking about Island More and what they can do. Just think about something and do it. And that's what the organizers did today. I thank you all, the organizers. They are not an exclusive group though. Like, you can organize and do anything and be involved. This is a grassroots movement, so please don't ask anybody for permission. I hate to see my brothers and sisters, all my Native brothers and sisters, wait around for somebody to lead, because you are the leader you're looking for. We're actually taking, everything is about love. We're actually helping Harper's grandchildren and great-grandchildren, looking after the earth for him. And all the bills that he's putting in, he might be attacking us, but we're loving him back. And that's the important thing to remember in this movement, that we're loving everyone back. The girls, thank you the girls for bringing up these bills. I'm going to go over really quickly. I'm trying to educate everybody about them. So it's the Omnibus Bill, C-45, it's already passed. So that's kind of in law already. C-38, the preemptive strike to cut all the funding, that's already law. The rest of them, the next one coming in is the First Nations Education Act. They're trying to force provinces to have curriculum over everyone else. And then the other one, and people got hurt actually breaking into the consultation meeting the other day in Saskatchewan. And there's Bill C-27, there's Bill S-2, Bill S-6, Bill S-8, Bill S-212, which is the most one that makes me upset because it tells us how to run our governments, and the Privatization, Private Property Act. So please pick up this if you don't have it. Can anybody ask me any questions about any of these things right now? Because I think it's better to know what you need to know.
Right here, please.
Yeah?
Who brings these bills forward? Who brings them to government, or who proposes them?
That's a good question. Mostly it's the Conservative government that has. There's 2 bills in the Senate, and those are the ones without numbers yet. And the rest of the number ones are done by the neocons themselves, the neoconservatives, because real conservatives would want to conserve the land, so I refuse to call them conservatives. And it's a private members bill too. The one to get rid of the Indian Act entirely, this is all going to be done within 1 year, these 14 bills, is done by a guy named Ron, and he is bringing in a private membership act. The NDP actually has put in a membership act too, to try to put in the UN Declarations of Rights and implement them into Parliament. Now that's not going to get accepted probably because he has 51%. So, but the fact that the NDP is bringing that in to say, follow the UN Declaration of Rights with all your legislation and your law is wonderful. So I want to commend the NDP for doing that. Google is your friend. So, any other questions?
How can they cut our funding when it's a 2% base of a trust fund?
A trust fund. Yes, you're right. I'm not the accountant or lawyer. I agree with you though, but how can they put in any of these bills? Because it actually breaks their own rules. It breaks the rules of the Constitution, it breaks the Royal Proclamation, it breaks their own Supreme Court rulings in Delgamuth and Chilcotin, it breaks, he's been proroguing Parliament, it actually breaks his own laws. So how can he break any of his own laws? Well, he's not a rational person. So we have to stop thinking that a dictator cannot come to our country because we've never had one before, because they've been all around the world. Power and greed, you know, it permeates around the world. It can happen here. We need to start shaking our heads and say, oh my God, what's happening? Like, this is actually happening in our lifetime.
And where's the Assembly of First Nations? Aren't they supposed to be standing up for all?
They are supposed to be standing up for us. I've talked to chiefs and councils who won't even be educating their members about these bills. Why aren't they talking to their memberships about them? Why? AFN was supposed to know about this in February. February of 2012, Sean Attlee was supposed to know. Is that why he's hiding out? You need to ask people. Questions need to be had now. Your voice needs to be heard. One more. Come on, more questions.
How can we stop
What? How can we stop Harper? Okay, so the ladies have said, even in Saskatchewan, they said do anything in your power. Write your MP, write your MLA. stand up and use your voice, because if you're silent and any of our nations are silent right now, guess what happens? That is acquiescence and that is consent. And that is very dangerous. That means we're consenting to all this stuff happening. If you don't go to your chiefs and councils, they're in private meetings right now with the government, and they say yes on your behalf, or Atleo says yes on your behalf, and you don't say no, they don't, you're in a really bad situation. So we can stop Harper by using every single power we have, because he and his think tanks used every power that they had to come up with these bills. I want you to know that he banned hate crime he banned hate speech out of hate crime before he even announced the First Nations termination plan. You're allowed to be racist against natives now in print and digital and in newspapers, and you can't do anything about it. Why did he do that before the termination plan? This thing is really big. He has 200, 300 people on think tanks coming in saying, if we can't get Enbridge in because of the environmental assessment, we'll just get rid of the environmental assessment. We can't get in because of First Nations, we get rid of them. That's as simple as that, and they're not fooling around. So everything you can, use your voice, letters, get on the street, talk to your chief and council, do whatever it takes. Go on the internet, go on the street, start practicing your own customs, your language, your traditions, teach your kids. Food sovereignty, why is 90% of the food in Rupert not actually coming from Rupert and Terrace too? We need to start living off the land, gardening, whatever you can to do nationhood and sovereignty. Those are the ways. And going back to the customs and going back to the language and the culture, learning that, that's how you're going to fight it. So I want us to discuss more about what to do. I mean, talking is great, but doing is better. And I really want, if you want to write down your emails on the paper that's passed out, I'm starting a Northwest Coast email list, and we need to start actually making plans, strategic meetings to make plans to do things, not just talk. I do appreciate talking and education, but we need to start moving ahead.
Okay, now what about, we've got an MLA and we've got provincial and federal representation that is behind us. We have that. So inundating them with letters. Who else can we send letters to?
Your chief and council. What are your chief and council planning to do with these 14 bills? Are they planning just to be a mayor of your village and be like, oh, we'll be a mayor of the village? Really, when you're a municipality and you're less than like 300 people, you think you're going to stay a town in BC? You think the provincial people want to put a hospital and education and schools in a place that's like 200, 300 people? You need to start talking to your chief and council and all your family. So you can actually write your MLAs, and that's great, but the Queen, the Privy Council, actually who goes directly to the Queen is the Privy Council, and that's who the nation-to-nation relationship is. I mean, you can write letters of all forms of government if that's your thing. Like, everyone has a gift that they want to do and that they are really good at. If letter writing is your thing, then great. If gardening is your thing, then that's great. Hunting, you know, we can all contribute to this. You know, we have our own gifts. Okay, I think I'm done. Please find me out there. Who doesn't have a brochure? If you raise your hand right now, I'll give you one. Okay.